Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Vladimir Putin has condemned Western sanctions imposed because of Russia's war in Ukraine as a fever that poses a threat to the entire world. In a speech to an economic forum in Vladivostok, he said Russia was coping with what he called the West's economic aggression. He also said Europe was cheating poor countries out of Ukraine's grain. For months, Ukraine's seaports were blockaded by Russian forces, but since exports resumed at the start of August, Russia's leader asserted that only 2 grain ships had gone to Africa, which is not the case. He said he wanted to discuss revisiting the deal in remarks rejected by Ukraine as groundless. Liz Truss has taken Prime Minister's questions in the Commons for the first time as Prime Minister. In front of the most diverse front bench in history, with no white men in any of the top jobs, she promised to help people with soaring energy bills, with her government set to announce a package of support with energy bills tomorrow.
Well, I understand that people across our country are struggling with the cost of living and they're struggling with their energy bills. And that is why I, as Prime Minister, will take immediate action to help people with the cost of their energy bills. And I will be making an announcement to this House on that tomorrow.
But the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, questioned how she will fund this if she also plans to cut taxes.
Well, I look forward to tomorrow's statement, but the money's got to come from somewhere. And she knows that every single pound in excess profits she chooses not to tax is an extra pound on borrowing that working people will be forced to pay back for decades to come. More borrowing than is needed. That's the true cost of her choice to protect oil and gas profits, isn't it? Yeah.
India's technology hub of Bengaluru was gearing up for more heavy rain after a brief respite from severe flooding, as authorities stepped up efforts to evacuate people and pump water out of inundated areas. The country's so-called Silicon Valley is facing an unusually wet monsoon, which has brought 162% more rainfall than average since June the 1st. Floods, after 2 days of incessant rains this week, have brought chaos and killed at least 1 person. While flooded roads had cleared in the worst hit areas, the situation was likely to turn grim again with heavy rain expected later in the day. Meanwhile, 7 people in South Korea have died after they were trapped in an underground car park during floods caused by Typhoon Hinnamnor. They had gone down to move their cars, but got caught by the incoming torrents. Rescue crews said they rescued 2 people who reportedly survived by clinging to ceiling pipes for more than 12 hours. More than 170 members of local fire stations, the military and the Coast Guard joined forces in the rescue efforts. Typhoon Hinnamnor tore through South Korea's southern industrial hubs this week, leaving at least 10 people dead, 2 missing, and thousands displaced. A bridge in Democratic Republic of Congo has collapsed just as officials gathered to inaugurate it. Onlookers appeared to cheer as the bridge buckled, with both of its handrails breaking off. Nobody was reported to have been hurt in the incident. And finally, New York's district attorney has returned $19 million worth of stolen art to Italy. The 58 pieces include a marble head of the goddess Athena, dated 200 BC, worth an estimated $3 million alone. The stolen artifacts were sold on to museums and private dealers by convicted looters. It is the city's latest effort to return plundered goods to their country of origin. $66 million worth have been returned so far this year. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.